Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time this live finds you. I'm doing this in response to Sally Ann and Robin Swan's live on April 17th, 2025. That was conducted on Sally Ann's channel. Tell it as you see it, or whatever you want to call it. So if you're coming here to hear screaming, shouting, crying, gnashing of teeth, scroll on, because you're not going to get it. But what I find truly sick is that the very people like Robin and Dara, Jackie and Scarlett can sit alongside the likes of Sally Ann and claim that they support or fully support the lies flowing from her foul mouth, even adding to them. Is your need to belong so great that you allow yourselves to publicly twist the truth just for the likes of people like Sally Ann? It clearly appears to be the case. So how about we remind folks of how it actually really went down? One of the biggest claims Sally made, among the numerous that she did, was she claimed that I was the main person who exposed Small Town Jill during a live involving, and she specifically mentioned the PowerPoint presentation, right? So let's review what actually really happened there. So the whole group, which consisted of Robin and Dara, Jackie, Scarlett, Jan, and several others which have not done anything to anybody, and I will leave them out, myself and Dawn obviously, we left Sally Ann in the mid-2020s. The exact date is irrelevant, but it was round about that same year. And we left because we could no longer handle the constant abuse and stress of Sally Ann and her out-of-control drinking. It had fuck all to do with Julie. We left because we could no longer handle being or having to constantly take care of Sally Ann. Or her emotional needs, should I say. Not the physical, because we weren't there, but the emotional needs. And it's funny how Sally Ann dares to tell people that they scam her time. Do you forget Robin and Indira, Scarlett? Hell, all of us. Having to take turns in caring for her emotional needs. Constantly reminding her to take her meds, go to bed, please reduce drinking, to put her CPAP on, Christ, even to turn the bloody stove off. It was making apparently you guys ill. And finally, we all actually had enough and left. We had to draw a line, or we were enabling it. Almost immediately, you, Sally Ann, began the relentless online verbal assaults, live after live after live, targeting, harassing, and slandering each and every one of us. And this went on for months after month after month. Using your channel and community to inflict some of the cruelest verbal and slanderous attacks on the very people who did nothing but support you. Do you forget that, Robin? Do you forget how you and Indira would come crying to us daily, physically ill, and begging Sally Ann to stop? Do you forget the CPS ordeal, Robin? Do you forget how it was all of you that came to me and Dawn, or Dawn and I, begging us to help make Sally Ann stop? To have her stop the online harassment? Do you, Robin and Indira, forget how you all provided the bulk of that information that could be used to finally show our side of things? Do you forget all of that, Robin and Indira, Scarlett? All I said, that you need to make sure that you have and ensure that you have all the facts along with Sally Ann's own words. Then present them side by side. Yet you, Robin and Indira and the rest of you, claim that you didn't know how to do that or even get your point across without crying or breaking down on a live. So I stupidly offered to create a PowerPoint to make sure that we could get our point across and the truth across in an orderly manner. It wasn't to expose Julie. It was to expose you, Sally Ann. To expose you. And I believe that is actually what really set this long-term hatred that you have for me and Dawn up. That's what set that emotion, isn't it, Sally? Because during that presentation, it was you who finally got exposed for the lying, or specifically lying your ass off regarding your involvement in that fundraiser, along with a host of other horrific false allegations, or accusations, should I say. Prove that I ever claimed that Julie was faking, or that she was a scammer, which is your words. Prove it. Because I have made it crystal clear on every single live and personal conversation that I've been involved in, that I'm aware of, that related to Small Town Jewel, that I never believed she was a scammer. But I had felt that she, and I can only speak on my behalf, but I felt that we were being manipulated, or I was being manipulated. Why won't Jura or CJ step up to the plate and confirm this? And other creators that were present during that time who heard the words that came out of my mouth. How about some of you subs and OGs that witnessed this whole nightmare? You all know exactly what I actually said, even if it was a while ago. Yet now you all remain dead silent. When you know damn well that I never said what they are accusing me of now. Nevertheless, after that PowerPoint presentation, we finally got some peace. But it was very short-lived. Because the moment you, Sally Ann, got bored, or you needed to deflect attention away from your own cruel behavior, you started back up again. And we were once again targeted and had to endure months and months of humiliating online harassment and bullying at the hands of Sally Ann and her community. And yet again, you all came to Dawn and I to try to find some solution. And it resulted in all of us coming together and writing impact statements that we then read out on a live, which was presented on Dawn K's channel. You remember that? And it was all in a desperate attempt to get you, Sally Ann, to stop. Surely you OGs and long-term subs can recall this. Why have you all remained silent? Why have none of you, including creators like CJ, Jura, Trisha, and so on, not spoken up and called out that? You all know damn well I never called Julie a scammer. Perhaps re-releasing those 2 lives will aid in jogging your memories. Maybe releasing private personal chats between everybody will help. I don't think it'd make a goddamn difference, because when we have in the past, as far as putting out any form of proof, it makes nothing. Makes no difference whatsoever. Because it doesn't support the main narrative, does it? It's far more entertaining watching people get dragged, harassed, slandered, and defamed, isn't it? Nevertheless, after all those, so that was round 2, or whatever you want to call it, things somewhat settled down until we were approached by CJ and Jura. Now, Jura, to be fair, had nothing to do with any of this. She was simply a mediator. But CJ came along. Funny you're not speaking up now, are you, CJ? And you were in that meeting. You were in that meeting with Sally Ann and all of us. And it was regarding Small Town Jewel. You all now had questions regarding the authenticity of her situation. And yeah, whatever, it doesn't matter. But you questioned it. You had unanswered questions and too many things that just didn't make sense or that you couldn't explain. And that you may have felt that you had misjudged us, that you had falsely accused us. And you weren't convinced anymore of Small Town Jewel's illness severity. Remember, that came from you, not me. I questioned it. I felt that we were being manipulated, but I never said that she was not ill. But it all came undone, didn't it? And finally, because the pressure was mounting, Sally Ann suddenly sparked up alive. You remember that, Sally? That little live that you did? Because the walls were crumbling down around you. And you stated in that live that you had been scammed. Your words. Your own words, never mine. the person who actually broke the news about Small Town Jewel was Sally Ann and not me. It was Sally Ann that was yelling out the woman was dying. And then in the same breath, the woman's a scammer. I never said she was a scammer. I said I felt manipulated. I never wavered on that statement. I never adjusted it or backpedaled it. I simply stated I was manipulated. I was manipulated. Sally and many others have said far different. They have actually said scamming. But now because she has passed away, backpedaling again, are you? So get your facts straight. You can play as many private, personal messages and select only the specific tiny niblets or whatever the case is that help to support your bullshit. And that's outright sick. Because Robin and Dara, Jackie, Scarlett, the rest of you, you were there when it happened. So you're sitting up there bold-facedly lying your asses off when you know the truth. Yeah, you all are the pillars of integrity, aren't you? How many others have they done this to, by the way? Have you ever asked that? How many other creators or people have they done this to? You don't have to look too far, do you? Trisha, Jura, Lycan, Scotty, TT, Surviving the Storm, Natasha, so on. I owned my lies. I owned them publicly. You two conveniently leave out that part in your life on April 17th, 2025, didn't you? Like putting up my ID. Why did I put out my ID, Robin? It wasn't possibly because you were accusing me of not being who I said I was. And it was the only way to prove that in fact was my actual name. Why did I put out any of that information? Those are my receipts. But just like what you did with what is it? It doesn't matter. I digress. How about family pics sent in private? You're damn right. You're damn right I sent you fake pictures because I wanted to protect my real family from the very thing that you bitches are doing now. Can you imagine what would have happened if I'd sent them the actual things? And a lot more? Their actions right now prove exactly what kind of people they do or what kind of people they are. Where they will use private personal information, images and so on, and release it. Yet claim never to go real life or to docs, right? Interesting. Oh, don't even get me started on what you guys have been doing behind the scenes. How certain creators have been contacted from multiple communities. You guys are all private. I mean, all quiet now, aren't you? You can have the power to stand up and do something. You could speak out and say, yeah, they did send us these things. But you won't. You won't. It'll require growing a backbone. Now, there's an exception of one or two creators that have actually finally stepped up publicly and said something, and they know who they are, and I don't need to address them here. It's just sad that you're too much of a cow, too much, whatever you are. But regarding my family, I never brought my family onto social media. Sally Ann, Robin, and Dara, Jackie, Scarlett, the rest of them did. The only references I ever made about them was kept very basic and simple. But they went all out and released unbelievably deeply personal details that I never spoke about or released in public. When I finally tried to defend myself and show things, or show certain things like I mentioned before, my ID, my military record, my qualifications, it was only after I was publicly freaking accused of not having any of that. But it didn't matter what I showed. It didn't make a goddamn difference. And it never will, because this community seems, or that community seems, only to be interested in being entertained. They don't give a goddamn who it destroys, or how many innocent people are caught in the crossfire. Couldn't give a rat's ass until it happens to you. Making references to South Africa was another one. Yeah, I have a South African accent. I wasn't born there. I had the misfortune of living there for a period of time. Doesn't make a goddamn difference. I was born in the UK. I served in the English military, or the British military, however you want to fucking put it, because it's never going to be the right phrased statement, is it? But even that was used against me, something that I had no control over. But I digress. That's for another day. But the accusations made about everything from my nationality, military, to my job, my family, even my sobriety, which I never had a problem with, by Sally Ann, along with several others, and Dara and Robin, made very public statements regarding my alleged alcoholism. Never had that. Interesting. Over 30 years of working, never had a flipping issue. Never. But I'll come back to that point. I'm also not going to speak on anybody else's behalf ever again. Sorry, but we all have our own voices. And if they've got something to say, they will say it for themselves. What I am grateful for, though, is the ability to reconnect with the likes of Chris C. and Jan Rocks. And before you, Sally Ann and Robin Swan, which I'm sure you feverishly gathering all the evidence you can, and release all the horrible things that I said about both of them, they already know it all. Every nasty, cruel, underhanded comment that I made about them was shown. We've been fully open about everything, good, bad, and the ugly. Everything. And I was horrified in what they shared with me about what was going on behind the scenes when I left, or me and Dawn and I and several others left. Horrified. What sickened me to the core even more was how you used painful private traumas that they had experienced to enforce some form of control and manipulation over them. That's sick. That's sick. Knowing their weaknesses and then using it or targeting them with it when they finally had the strength to leave you. Because that's what you do. You take deeply personal and painful things that people share with you in private, stupidly trusting you, and then you use it against them when they are no longer your ally. Doesn't that sound familiar, folks? Does this sound like deja vu all over again, huh? Does it? How many of you seen and yet continue to blindly follow these people? Just because you want to be entertained. You conveniently ignore what they've done until it happens to you. What I will ask, of all the years that I have been on YouTube, when did I ever beg for money or appear drunk on a live? What did I ever do to any of you subs, OGs, to warrant all those nasty and cruel, slanderous comments you added to chats and community posts? Did it make you feel good? Did it? To join in? I truly enjoy engaging with people from all over the world and connecting with them, sharing adventures and recipes and jokes and memories. But hell, it is not worth putting my family, friends, my livelihood, and my well-being at risk. And if nobody holds people like Sally Ann accountable, then when will it ever end? When tragedy strikes? I freaking doubt that, because all it'll be used for is for more clicks and more views. Some of you need to take a long, hard look at yourselves and ask yourselves if it's all worth it, or if you're actually enabling it. But with that, there's my piece. Have at it as you want.